Welcome to the Big Biz Show.
Taking care of business.
You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
Wherever you are watching, wherever you're listening, welcome to the Big Biz Show, otherwise known as None Your Business. Costa here behind the bar where Sully normally is. And of course, the belle of the ball, Mary Burt-Godwin. Sully taking care of some Christmas stuff. Gets all crazy this time.
Think he's wrapping the presents? He doesn't do his own wrapping, you think?
No, he doesn't.
Nice?
Yeah. And let's say good morning to the DTT. DTT, what do you got for me?
Hey.
Do you do your own wrapping of presents?
Yeah, what I do is I'll take a brown paper shopping bag and I'll roll it up like this, and then I'll smack that, pill and stick ribbon right on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll write, to Meg, love, Mike, under the tree.
Have you done your shopping for her?
No. Not a thing. But I'm lucky. I'm lucky this year because we made it. Can we just start the show over again, please? we made a promise to each other this year that we were not going to go crazy, go extravagant. And she brought up a good point the other day to me, Mary, and she said, I'm just sick of all this excess and what we have and what we get rid of. And she said, and what it's doing to the earth.
I agree.
And that's the first time she's ever said anything like that to me. And I kind of stopped and I went, you're right. We have so much crap in this house. We don't need anything. We don't need food. I don't need clothing. I don't need another chair, another whatever.
Yeah.
And so this year we're just kind of going super, super small.
Nice.
And there's a couple T-shirts I want, like dress T-shirts, to wear underneath
Dress
the
T-shirt.
sweater.
Oh, okay.
To wear underneath the sweater,
Okay.
and that's it. I don't want anything else. Band? Is there anything on your Santa wish list that you just gotta have?
Not really.
No.
Super low key.
I have about 5 things.
Peace on earth.
I have a
Peace on
human
earth.
eyelash curler I want, and
Oh, of course.
Eyelash curler.
Yeah.
because I don't have any. So anyway, it's this thing that came into my Instagram feed, and I sent the link to my daughters. I said, this is what I need.
Is your shopping done completely?
Almost all of it. Yeah, I have a few more things. And I've got teenage girls. They just want some new clothes for dance mostly.
Okay.
And I did buy them something kind of extravagant.
You can't say it on the air though,
Because they might be listening.
Oh, okay.
So maybe after Christmas I will announce it.
Right.
It was pretty cool.
Do you buy for other members of your family? Like, do you have
Yes.
brothers and sisters, nephews?
I have nephews and a niece, so I bought them these things on sale at Target. It was a holiday deal. I bought
Right.
it all done.
Yeah.
I have some siblings I'm buying for. So yeah, I've got a lot of people.
See, and Mary, Band, I don't know how you guys are, but my siblings and I, James, I know you come from a giant family. We had a powwow. We sat down a lot of years ago and just said, yeah, no more. We'll take care of the nieces, the nephews. Don't buy for me.
Kids.
I'm not buying for you.
Yep.
Here's your Jelly of the Month Club.
You know what I
Move
saw on
on.
TikTok or on Instagram was a family that did a wig swap. It was just a funny, and they all you pick one name out of the hat.
Okay.
And they all gave each other these funky, funny wigs, and they just opened them up on Christmas Eve and put them on and had to celebrate the whole. It was actually a pretty funny idea.
Okay.
I like it.
Worst family ever.
Oh, come on. I'm the person that likes to bring the games to the Christmas Eve party, though.
Well, see, give a game or something like that. That's awesome. But if
Play the game in a wig.
if I open up my present and it's a wig, someone's getting punched on Christmas Day.
But what if you get to go buy a wig and have fun? How fun is that?
It's not fun.
No.
No.
What about the Nunya game?
Yeah.
Nunya game.
Nunya
A Nunya game.
Nunya
Exactly.
Biz. Let's play that.
All right, we got a big show planned here on the Big Biz today. Our market analyst, Mr. Howie Font from the Big Apple himself, is going to tell us how the market's doing. A lot of other things going on in the finance world. As the Big Biz show continues, keep it here. We are live from the Loft 100 studios in sunny Southern California. Holiday version. There's been a couple of them. The Big Biz Show. Costa and Mary Burt-Godwin with you, Sully and Greg, out doing other types of big biz stuff. Hope you guys are doing well. Of course, we are joined in studio by the Day Trader Trio, the best in the business.
Best.
Gentlemen, how we doing?
You know, I love the holidays, I gotta say. I do. Holiday time of year. This has been a hard year. I lost my mom this year. There's grief, there's emotions, but I also have so much joy at this time of year. I don't know, it's just fun. I like the decor, I like the music, I like overeating. I like all the things.
All the things.
Okay, truth be told, 100% transparency, and Trace and James can back me up on this. I don't think Brian was in studio yet, but I walked in and I just looked at them. I said, is it bad that I want the holidays to be effing over, please?
I missed that conversation.
And I know you did. But again, like we talked about before on the show, I have a profound new look on Christmas. And Trace, did you say peace on earth?
James said
or
peace
James,
on earth,
peace
but I
on
would
earth?
like it too. Peace
okay,
on earth would be awesome.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Getting back to what this whole conglomerate, business holiday is, which is peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Yeah.
And I want to get back to that. And I'm tired, and I don't mind. I love the hustle and bustle at the malls. I love the music. I love the decorations and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I gotta have, or God, I feel so inadequate if I don't, put something expensive underneath the tree.
Yeah, it's not. I think you're right. It's not about that. But
no.
Like last night, I decorated the table for my kids with Christmas decor and stuff. And then the kids came in. We had a nice dinner, and holiday music was playing. And it was just like a little moment that I don't get with my teenagers very often. So
no, make a fire.
I like it.
Kick back, just look at the tree and chill, and just be thankful that you have everything that you have. We certainly are thankful for our market analyst here on the Big Biz Show. His name is Howie Font.
What does Howie think
and
about
he
this?
joins us once again
What's your take?
From the Big Apple. Howie, have we lost our way when it comes to what the spirit of the Christmas and the holidays and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all that good stuff is about?
Well, first of all, just as always, happy to be on Nunya, especially the holiday edition. Love the holidays like Mary.
I'm all wrapped up in red now. Got my red glasses.
I'm wearing blue because I feel blue. Just kidding. Howie, go ahead.
You need green, Mike.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, materialism's a thing. Yeah, all I want for Christmas is $100 billion in Bitcoin, but we'll get to that.
I love the fact that I just made you tap dance through the minefield with that question, Howie. Well done. Well done.
No, listen, it's I think it's a thing. I think we all prefer the part where we see our family that we don't see often enough, more than the stuff, but
sure,
the stuff's good too. I like this.
No, and don't get me wrong. There's excellent stuff out there, especially now that we're in the midst of this technological age that we all enjoy. I mean, the bells and whistles, and the next greatest thing is
the heated eyelash curler.
Oh, exactly.
That's what I'm hoping for.
My brand new back waxer. I mean, those things are awesome. How you mentioned Bitcoin. It went over, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it last week? It went over 100,000 for the first time ever?
Yeah, it did. In a crazy move since the election, I think the price is up 40% or so. And yeah, we crossed the 100K barrier. We're back down now on some different news, but still very, very high.
What's the news that's bringing it back down?
Well, Microsoft has a lot of cash on its books. A lot of big corporations do, and they buy corporate bonds or maybe some stocks just to get a little bit better return than a normal bank account would, because they're holding a lot of cash for long periods of time. Mm-hmm. And so there was a shareholder vote, should one of those assets be Bitcoin, and there was a lot of talk that Microsoft is going to kind of break a glass ceiling and buy Bitcoin and keep it on its balance sheet, and they decided not to. So that's that. And then they also, Google and Microsoft yesterday announced that they were unveiling quantum computer chips, which is kind of a exponential increase in our computing power. And I don't think this is there yet, but technically you could use a quantum computer to break Bitcoin, and that's far in the future. But those are the two pieces of news bringing us back down, but still very high.
I hear the word quantum, and I immediately go to time travel type of quantum, that type of.
Hey, Howie, what's the deal with the Bitcoin Act of 2024? Is this a thing?
Yeah. So finance and politics, Mary, you're getting me all excited. I'm happy.
I'm stressed out, so I'm glad you're excited. Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah. So the U.S. government holds lots of assets, just like Microsoft's balance sheet. If Sully were here, he'd go into Jekyll Island and the whole Federal Reserve System. But we all know about Fort Knox and how much gold that has. So the Bitcoin Act is kind of a similar thing for Bitcoin. It says the federal government needs to accumulate some Bitcoin, hold it on its balance sheet for at least 20 years, and use it as a reserve asset. And it would require our banking system to, take some of its earnings and hold Bitcoin. The amount that they want to do is a lot. They want to do 5% of all Bitcoin, or a million Bitcoin. Yeah. So at the price Mike mentioned, the $100,000 price at a minimum, right? Because if you're buying, the price is going to go up. That's $100 billion in 5 years. So that's a lot of buying for anything.
Wow.
Howie Font is our Big Biz Show market analyst with us here today. Howie, what's the deal with this new company, MicroStrategy? Is it associated with Microsoft or Bitcoin or both?
It's very associated with Bitcoin because it's of its CEO, who's a very, very smart guy, Michael Saylor. They're not associated with Microsoft, but they have worked together in the past. MicroStrategy's CEO, like I said, actually advised Microsoft on how they would technically and what are the merits of doing it. So he spoke to their board, but the shareholders disagreed. So that kind of ends that. MicroStrategy is a relatively small company that has very high profit margins, and they're using that to build. They're a cash machine, but they can't grow beyond a certain point. So what their CEO has been doing for the last few years is they were one of the first companies to actually buy Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and they're actually borrowing money to buy Bitcoin. So they're leveraged. They're, if Bitcoin goes up $1, you would expect MicroStrategy, I don't know what their leverage is right now, but if it was 10 to 1, to go up $10 for every time Bitcoin went up $1, if that makes sense.
There was just a little sidebar here. There was an NFL offensive lineman, and I think he either went from the Broncos to the Chargers or the Chargers to the Broncos. But the new contract he signed with his new team, I forget the amount of money, but he asked for and received half of it in cash and half of it in Bitcoin. Wow. And this was probably 8 or 9 years ago.
Is that the first time that was done?
That's the first time I can recollect it being done in professional sports. But Howie is as these athletes. Juan Soto just signed a deal with the New York Mets, 15 years, $785 million. It wouldn't surprise.
There were parades. Yeah,
of course there were.
All the Met fans came out. Yep.
Yeah, and all the Yankee fans are crying. But I wouldn't. Do you hear more and more pro athletes maybe possibly doing this as far as contractual obligations from a team, not only cash, but maybe Bitcoin or some sort of other?
For anyone who doesn't understand this, a good example is, I think Charles Barkley told this story in the 90s. He was talking to Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan asked him about his contract, and he said, "What do you need all this cash for? Tell him to give you options. Tell him to give you stock." And so it's a kind of a similar thing. Of course, we see that, in hindsight, you should be asking for some Nike stock or, whoever you're working with. You want some cash, sure. And that's why he's taking 50% cash, not all Bitcoin. But you want a growing asset, and it's good for tax reasons too. But mostly you want it growing, right? And so he sees that there's an asset that's going to jump up. The teams are happy to do it because it's so volatile. It's so up and down. Sure. They don't have to pay him the Bitcoin day one. He doesn't get a check for it that day, but they can average their price down. So they can, buy half his salary for maybe 20% off if they are smart about accumulating it, and then give it out to him as he earns it, and he's happy to take it in the long term. I think it's a great deal. Very smart. So whoever told him to do that, or if it was his idea, kudos.
Hey, we got about 15 seconds left. All your holiday shopping done?
I'm a notoriously late holiday shopper.
That pregnant before the question.
I will capstone it. I mean, I think there's diminishing returns on material stuff. So I think I'll see both of you before the year is out, and that's all for the good. And I think you are ultimately right, Mike.
Big Biz Show market analyst Howie Font with us. Howie, great. We'll talk to you next week, my friend.
Bye, Howie.
Keep it right here. More of the Big Biz Show after this. In over 175 countries and all the ships at sea on the American Forces Network, it is the Big Biz Show as always. To our brave men, women of the United States Armed Forces, thank you for what you do. To our vets, what you have done for us. Costa standing in for Sully, pending bar today. Of course, Mary Burt-Godwin in her beautiful Christmas red sweater. Beautiful. Hope you guys are all having a good day. With us at the bar as well, Speaker, CEO, Coach, Consultant, Chief Launch Officer, Mr. Dan Negroni, back with us here on the Big Biz Show. Happy holidays.
That'd be me.
That's you, sir.
Yes.
That's you,
How are you?
Negroni?
Good.
Shopping done? Shopping
So there's
started?
such a happy vibe in here today.
It is.
Isn't it fun?
So festive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the
Everyone's
Grinch.
smiling, laughing.
He's a little bit grinchy, though.
I
What
walked
happened?
in. I walked in and I said, as we rehash this, thanks, Mary. I just walked in and I said, God, is it okay if I just say I want the holidays to be over?
When I come in, I'm like,
she
ho,
came
ho,
and she goes, oh my God, I
ho.
love it. And I love the decorations. I love the specials. I just hate the commercial side of it. So we're trying to scale back and get back into, as the band would say, peace on earth and goodwill towards men.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to focus on that
Amen.
this year. Yeah. There you go.
Amen.
Is the semester over, Professor?
My first semester is over.
Wow,
was it?
awesome. How did it go?
Lots of lessons learned.
Okay, tell me.
Yeah.
I think lots of lessons learned about me. Like, oh my God, number one is I cuss a lot. And it's not very good in front of students, probably.
Do you have to curb it, or do you just let it fly?
Well, I kind of use it a little bit more intentionally because there's a study that shows that it actually connects with younger people and connects people. And it's not gratuitous cussing.
Okay.
It's like
Thank you.
emphasis.
Yes.
Yeah.
A well-placed F-bomb is,
Yeah.
really,
And so,
it's an art form to it, really.
so I'm learning the art form of trying to really be focused that there are, 40 eyes looking at you and wanting you to go faster probably so they could get the class over with, especially at 5 o'clock at night. But learned a lot of things about myself and how to teach and what they need, and then learned a ton of stuff about them.
And it's in the business school, right?
Yes, I'm a business professor teaching strategy management.
Okay, and so they, at that point,
Fourth
it's not
year,
a
yeah.
general
Seniors,
education class.
juniors.
So they're focused and
They should know
They want to-
stuff.
they
I
want
almost
to-
cursed. They should know stuff.
but they want to be there too, right? Because I
Well,
imagine
that's a really good question. I'm not so sure.
Okay.
And I think it depends on the day. I think, it's a 2-credit course. So I think many of them kind of want to get it over with.
Okay.
And it's at 5 at night. And I require a lot of them, a lot of interaction, a lot of just coming up. And like if there was a camera there, they'd be, you're on.
Sure.
Okay.
And they don't like that.
Really?
I mean, public speaking is a fear worse than death for most people.
Yeah.
And they haven't
especially
been-
this age.
Yeah,
we're
and
thinking, right?
and I teach it in a way where, look, let's learn how to think. Because when you get to the workplace, no one's going to give you a guide to tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what up? You got to ask smart questions. You got to be there. You got to show up. So I make them all coach each other. Like they have to teach the class kind of like law school,
Okay.
Socratic method. So I'm not so sure. We'll see what my reviews look like. I'm kind of a little trepidatious, a little scared.
You get in front of executives with Fortune 500 companies. You've done a ton of big keynote addresses. How similar is teaching students to that, or are they absolutely polar opposites?
Yeah, no, they're so similar.
Okay.
I mean,
audience is-
look, if you're a real keynote speaker, you care about giving value to the audience and not about what your prepackaged thing says.
Okay.
I mean, you have to have a mark and a script, like you guys know, and the timesheet, and be super well prepared. But my job when I get in the room of a keynote speech is the same as my job in the classroom, except for I get 15 weeks with them, which is awesome to get to know them better. But you must know your audience and deliver to them because they are the hero of anything you're talking about. And so it's really fun, but it's a lot of work.
Okay, I have
A lot of work.
questions about
A lot harder than a
these
keynote.
students.
Yeah.
Do you allow them to bring their phones in?
Okay.
And how do you manage that?
So funny you ask that because my nieces who are in college now both ask me, what's your policy on phones? I'm like, there are none. We haven't had a problem until the last class.
Someone's phone go off?
Well, we had mentors come in, like 9 mentors, and they were all working on the projects, and one happened to be run a car dealership. And so one girl says in the middle of class on her phone, oh, the mentor who came, Dan was his name too, Dan came and he's helping my mom buy a car. And I was like, who cares? We're teaching, right? They're presenting their final project. Who cares? So that was the only time I had a problem with the phone, actually. And I said,
good. That's impressive.
that's ridiculous. Like, put that thing away. Almost dropped an F-bomb. That's crazy.
That would have warranted.
Yeah.
Did you turn and go, who asked her
I said,
that question?
WTF.
Or who asked
Yeah,
him that
right?
question?
Yeah, WTF.
Oh my gosh.
Like, are you for real?
Yeah.
And then I told my niece's story. So I was like, you broke it. I was on a stretch for 15 weeks where no one at least let me know. They have their computers out.
Right.
So they have their text and their WhatsApp and their iMessage. So they can do a lot of things.
Okay.
And I don't go behind them, but I do make them participate.
And did you see growth in them over the course of the
Yeah, because the first week we start with, I make them tell their story. And then we all give feedback about how the story could have been better. And then the last week, or the last 3 weeks, they each go in parts and they have to retell their story. So you can, and then the class has to coach them on what was better and what they felt and what they learned. And so really interesting.
Did you
Super cool.
Did you get some students who were the little acorn, and that last day you were looking at the mighty oak? Did you see growth like that?
Yes, and what's super cool about the growth is it's so unique. And being a guy that, one of the things, the party tricks I do when I do a keynote is I learn everyone's name. If there's under 100, 150 people, I can learn everyone's name. So these kids, I knew their name in 10 minutes, right? Like,
yeah.
Sorry, and don't move your seats because I'm not forgetting your names because you're participating. And so the other thing that is kind of one of my gifts is I really can tell their unique strengths, even if they're shy, they're drooling while they're speaking, right. They're not very articulate. You see the crystals. And it's super cool to be able to bring those out.
Did it give you more faith in this generation? Because I know we've talked about this generation being a little bit.
I'm going to say it in 2 languages: yes and no, and CE no. I mean, like at times, and then there were times I'm like, really, and I said it.
Yeah.
Really? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
With my expletive, of course.
The website is dannegroni.com to find out everything about Dan. We got about a minute and a half left, Dan. Talk about this new book we were talking about during the break. $12 Trillion Coach?
Yeah, with my work with Marley, we're doing a lot of AI-based coaching for the everyman in your pocket. It's super cool. Go to getmarley.com to figure that out. But I started reading this book called The $1 Trillion Coach, which I'd never read. And anyone who's interested in affecting people's lives or creating impact has to read the book. It's about a guy named Bill Campbell who has passed, but was the coach. He was a coach of Columbia college football team, and then he ended up being the coach of Steve Jobs, Eric Schmidt, Larry and Sergey at Google, Intuit. He was the CEO of Intuit. Just a fascinating read about how a really cool, with expletives, coach that cared and dug in. I kind of feel his vibe. Right. It's kind of mine. And it's just such a good book on how to show up and provide value to others.
I love it.
Do that.
All right.
He
I'm
is
going to get the audiobook.
CEO, coach, consultant, chief launch officer. He is a great friend of the Big Biz Show. His website is dannegroni.com. If we don't see you before, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Always good to see you, brother.
Don't be a Scrooge.
I'm trying. I will. I'm refocusing. I'll turn the frown upside down for you, Mary.
Mike Costa.
All right, keep it here. More with the Big Biz after this. live from the Loft 100 studios here in sunny Southern California. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, thank you for being along for the ride. Costa standing in for Sully. Of course, my partner in None Your Business is Mary Burt-Godwin. And the best in the business, say good morning to the DTT. Gentlemen, thank you, as always. I am so excited that Matt Williams is with us in studio. And to kind of, I met Matt through LinkedIn. And you and your son, by the way, welcome.
Thank you.
You and your son were landing a leopard shark on the beach, right? That was the picture that I responded to.
Yes, I think that's what initially.
And before all you PETA people freak out and stuff, it was catch and release. They let the shark go. The shark was not harmed, the whole 9 yards. But he and I just started up a conversation. And then he talked to me. He just mentioned, hey, Mike, this is a business that I'm going to get involved with. And for lack of a better term, it is taking name brand sneakers, tennis shoes, and customizing them to the point that they really pop. I mean, they make you stop when you're watching videos of he and his team and what they do, go, wow. And it's kind of changing the way some people are, I guess for lack of a better term, Matt, are giving gifts or getting people's attention in the business world. Is that the best way to explain it? To describe it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our goal, we sit at kind of the intersection of pop culture and corporate marketing.
Yes.
Right? And so we're trying to truly kind of explode corporate logos into sneaker form.
Yeah.
And stopping the scroll, getting attention, giving people a reason to understand what a normal snorri business would be doing. Now we're basically able to get them captured into that process of a video that we put together where the shoe's going from white to fully customized.
Yeah.
And then they're drawn in, right? And then it becomes, oh, wow, these guys also do this, this, and this. Okay, now I'm kind of drawn in. Now I want to see what these guys do.
Because you're giving the sneakers to clients or to the people that work there, whoever it may be, in person, but then you're also filming the making of the sneakers, putting that on the social, and that's kind of what you were saying, the snorri side of, you know, some of these businesses maybe don't have exciting things to put on their social media feeds, and they feel like they need to be there, but they don't know what to do. So you're coming in and saying, hey, we're making content for you that's exciting, gonna stop the scroll, gonna make people invested in your business before they even know what you're doing, right?
Exactly. Right, it all starts with the sneaker, right? The sneaker is kind of the first thing that's the entry point for our conversation with discomfort. First you start with the sneakers, which we'll fully customize based on your logo, based on your interest, and we truly kind of bring, no pun intended, the soul of your company into the shoe.
Love it.
And from there, we video everything of the process, right? And then you have a complete video package that then you could use to distribute on social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn, and that draws people in. And so now, like, what it's used for, corporate gifting, employee retention, trade shows, personal, but you have an excuse to be relevant on social media.
Here is the name of the company is Discomfort, and DSCMFRT, DSCMFRT.org. Here's a brief little snippet of what Matt and his team are doing right now.
Get ready for the big reveal on Big Biz. Sneakers that make a statement are stepping into the spotlight. Each pair is handcrafted with precision, designed exclusively for Big Biz radio stars Mike Costa and Sully Sullivan. Watch as these custom kicks hit the airwaves on the Big Biz show. Want your own? Every sneaker we make is a canvas for your unique story. Start your custom sneaker journey today. Visit our website today for your custom sneaker mock-up.
Whoa,
Get
this is
ready.
so cool.
All right, discomfort.org, and you brought some in for Sully and myself, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I have not seen these. I've heard about these, you guys. Matt, when, you know, it's that time of the year where people are going around and they're dropping off bottles of wine, they're dropping off boxes of chocolate and stuff, and a lot of that stuff gets stuck somewhere, or, hey, I just got this box of chocolate from Mike Costa. You want it? Take it home to your kids and stuff. This is really a great way to get to that, I guess, decision maker, that power broker, and make holy crap. Are you kidding me?
I love it.
Oh my God.
That is so awesome.
Look at, You guys talk amongst yourselves.
That's so. What's this?
It's a rhino. He asked me what I wanted to have on the side of the
I
shoe.
need the glasses.
Matt, oh my
Awesome.
God, that is incredible.
And so, Mike, you nailed it, right? It's just a forever gift.
Yes.
It's something that one, either you're going to wear and it's going to be a billboard for yourself and also for your company,
right?
Or it goes on the back out there, right? And it becomes a centerpiece behind you on your bookcase, on your centerpiece, and it becomes a conversation.
Oh my God.
Now, do you have designers that work in-house for you, and do you work with, so you got like what colors he wanted and the logo from us, and then your designers kind of come up with what it's going to look like?
Yeah, so we do free mock-ups, right? Okay. And so anyone that goes to discomfort.org, there's a little form you fill out, and it's basically upload your brand guide, any logos, what's your interest, are you into music, are you into surf, are you into anything, right? And that becomes really the essence of the creativity, right? Okay. And that's what really kind of brings everything out into the sneaker, and that sets it apart. And having those things to be able to work with on the sneaker really kind of enhances that video asset.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, when you're starting with what I assume is going to be just a white basic model?
Yep.
Or can somebody say, hey, I want this color of Air Jordan, and I want you to put these color on it? Can you do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so it doesn't just have to be a white tennis shoe to start with. It's any canvas out there.
Yeah, and we'll guide the customer in the right direction, right?
Okay.
And it can be any brand. It doesn't have to be Nike. It can be really any brand of shoe.
Sure.
We typically favor the leatherish material just for our process.
Yeah.
But we have worked with cloth before and fabric.
The website, DSCMFRT, discomfort.org. How's it going? How long have you been involved with these guys? 4 or 5 months?
So I've been involved with the business for 5 months.
Okay.
The business has been around for about 9 years.
Okay.
We started off, my partner started the business designing wrestling shoes in high school.
Okay.
Because if you know wrestling, it's very bland.
Yeah.
And he started designing wrestling shoes. And that quickly evolved into sneakers. And so he's been in this sneaker business for a very long time, mostly with individual Instagram, TikTok, which you have a lot of followers for sneakerheads.
Yes.
And when I got involved, it was more of like, how do we create a business that's focused on corporations, small business, and giving them a reason on LinkedIn specifically to talk and be relevant.
Yeah.
And that's where we've seen a lot of growth, is really being this source on LinkedIn for small business and large businesses for their brands on court.
Well, and you put it out on LinkedIn the other day, should I continue posting videos of the A to Z process, or are you guys getting bored? Overwhelmingly, people are sitting there going, no, we want to see more videos. We want to see more videos. Now, yours is a corporate background to begin with, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been in that rat race for the longest time. So you basically know the ins and outs and what is going to make an impact with someone who's trying, for lack of a better term, to get a foot in the door, versus just, hey, here's my card, can you call me because I would like to do some business with you, type of thing.
Yeah, you've got to stand out, right? And it's anything from personal, you and I,
Sure,
to relevancy on video and assets. All of it plays into this process. And even on LinkedIn strategy, right? I mean, how you and I met, it wasn't because of discomfort, it wasn't about business, it was about a shark.
Exactly.
Right? And so this LinkedIn movement has become more social versus resume and job posting. It's become more of a social platform where people need interesting conversations to engage. So it's not me like, all right, buy a shoe. It's hey, here's a little bit about me. Here's some stuff about a shoe. And by the way, we do this, that, and the other. So it's like, it's not give me. It's give.
Yes.
And then maybe take, right?
That's interesting about LinkedIn, because I've been hearing for many years that it's growing among businesses. And I don't spend a lot of time on it, but the personal piece that you're talking about is a very interesting part of it. And it's not saturated market. It's not like Instagram where it's totally saturated, right? Overly saturated, I would say, with people trying to sell you stuff. So you're saying that businesses and individuals can go on, have conversations, and then put the video and try to sell that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's being called today's reputation is now called personal branding, right? It's the new term for reputation, personal branding. Now you really need to put yourself out there, and a lot of people don't want to do that, right? I think there's about 135 million people daily on LinkedIn. Of those, there's a small fraction that produce content, videos, and of those, there's a very small few that are actually good at it, right? And so I see this as an opportunity for you to be good at it at least 1, 2, maybe 3 times when you may not be relevant otherwise. And so we're really giving people an excuse to stop the scroll and get people to interact with them.
DSCMFRT, discomfort.org. In about 20 seconds that we have left, how's business going with it?
Business is great. I couldn't be happier.
I'm going to make a promise to Matt, to everybody in the studio, to everybody watching. This is going to become my official Big Biz Show attire shoe.
Love it.
I'm not wearing any other shoe from now on. I'm putting these babies on my foot.
So good.
Thanks to Matt Williams and Discomfort. Dude, happy holidays. This is awesome. This is awesome. Happy holidays.
Mission accomplished.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, buddy.
So awesome.
All right, more at the Big Biz Show after this. Yeah, happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
We need some jingle bells up in here.
Oh.
Who's got the bells? There we go. Hey.
See, this is what happens. You talk with 3 of the most talented musicians I have ever been around. And of course, that's the Day Trader Trio.
The best.
And you start talking in terms of Christmas songs you hate. I mean, you're just like, enough. And then what do? They turn it around and they're like, ha, 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 ha. Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Yeah, I got your jingle bell rock.
How can you not like Whoa. This just took a turn.
All right, fellas.
How can you not like this song, though?
Huh?
How can you not like this song?
Okay, enough, done.
You are the Grinch today. Goodness
No,
me.
I'm not.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
I just saw that over the weekend, actually.
It is the Big Biz Show. We are live in the Loft 100 studios. In all seriousness, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, a blessed Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, everything that goes with that. I was doing a podcast episode yesterday, and we had to come to the table with the top 5 worst, most hated Christmas songs that we just can't stand when they come on the radio.
That's yours.
Jingle Bell Rock was one of them. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee, who's also the devil. And Wham's Last Christmas, Yoko and John Lennon, War is Over, Happy, whatever the hell it's called.
What's your favorite? Can we make this a little happier of a segment?
White Christmas, Nat King Cole, You can't go wrong with the Christmas song.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
What about Mariah Carey's jam?
No, and there's so many good ones out there. Do you have a favorite?
I do. It's called Seasons by Sullivan. Hey, look it up on Spotify. I mean, who pulled it out?
Brownie points.
We might have to play that.
Brownie points for Mary. Okay, but like the classics.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? I don't know.
Great song.
I'm blanking on all of them.
Frosty.
You know what I love is Shake
Grandma Got
Shake
Run
It Up
Over by a
Christmas
Reindeer?
by Train. That's not a classic. That's
No.
a newer one, but I like that one.
Awesome.
Shake up the happiness.
Oh, God, it sounds like they're right here. Joining us right now, he is the head of petroleum analyst for Gas Buddy. It's our good buddy, Patrick DeHaan. He always comes on with us and tells us, going to be expensive this year to be driving to Grandma's house for the turkey and the goose and the prime rib, or is it going to be a little bit better on the wallet? Patrick, how you doing, buddy? Merry, happy holidays.
I'm good. You as well. I was going to say there's one holiday that's coming up as well that may be lesser known, although George Costanza would like to have a word Festivus also that we have to throw up there. So the airing of grievances, not so many grievances at the pump this year. There's a couple, but all in all, not too bad.
Okay, so if they're not flying, and we always, obviously jet fuel, fluctuates as well, but most people jump in the car to drive somewhere for Christmas. Should it be better on the wallet than it was last year?
It would be a lot better, at least in most areas. The national average, actually, for the first time in the last few years, going back to 2021, the national average now below the $3 a gallon mark. So I know not on the West Coast where prices tend to be much higher as we look at California beat yellow as it tends to be. But even some stations in California getting well below $4. In fact, some stations in California isolated here and there are starting to get close to $3 a gallon.
Not where we live, that's for sure.
Well, no, it's still in the 4 range, but I will say, and I buy most of we have an EV, and we'll talk about that here in a second, but our gas vehicle, Costco, is getting down to that like 409, 410 range when we go to fill it up.
What do you think are the impacts that we're bringing it down? Do you think is the election have anything to do with that, or what are the factors here?
Well, I'll touch on the election because a lot of Americans like to mention that. But keep in mind that oil and gasoline are global commodities. So a U.S. election is really small in the grand scheme of how many countries the world has that use and consume crude oil. And the election has nothing to do with what's happening. Keep in mind, not only inflation hit us and caused gas prices to skyrocket here, but that's happening globally as well. And so now, global oil prices have been declining. It's not just happening in the U.S., but gas prices down all around the world. And a lot of it is the same reason. Gasoline demand tends to be weaker in the cooler weather. Maybe not California, but it certainly gets cold here in Chicago. And there's not quite anything like taking a Route 66 road trip in the middle of winter. Nobody wants to do that. So a lot of us stay close to home, and that helps push gasoline demand down. Also, China's economy really struggling. China, the number 2 consumer of gasoline. So you put it all up, seasonal factors, economic weakness globally, lower gas prices.
Patrick DeHaan, the head of petroleum analysis for Gas Buddy, the website Patrick DeHaan, DeHaan.com.
Hey, Patrick, what do you think the shift towards electric vehicles, how has that impacted the gasoline market?
Well, for a lot of the transition, especially in California, it really hasn't made much of an impact. And for the reason that while there's a lot of EVs on the roads nowadays, you're also seeing a lot bigger vehicles replace things like passenger vehicles. So there's been an increase in demand because Americans are driving bigger vehicles at the same time that EVs are ramping up. So there's been a little bit of a decrease in demand because EVs are ramping up, but it's not as big as you'd think, because cars that Americans are gravitating towards are less and less fuel efficient. Look at a lot of auto manufacturers nowadays. They don't even make passenger vehicles anymore. It's all crossovers and SUVs and bigger vehicles that are less fuel efficient.
Patrick, with what's going on, the unrest in Syria there in the Middle East, do you anticipate that power vacuum as it stands right now affecting oil production in the Middle East, that type of thing?
Not immediately, but it is something that we'll be carefully watching over the coming weeks and months as a government maybe eventually forms in Syria. There's going to be a lot of likely persuasion. I mean, Israel's been active over in Syria already trying to get a larger barrier between Israel and Syria. So we'll have to keep an eye on how things progress there, what government forms. But for now, Syria and the Middle East really not having any impact on overall oil prices, which, by the way, remain relatively low. OPEC met last week. Mm-hmm. They kicked the can down the road. They had been planning on raising production, but now they're going to wait until April to potentially start raising production because of oil prices already being low.
Patrick, we have about 30 seconds left. How are we looking in the United States as far as our own national production?
Actually, U.S. production, I'm glad you asked. U.S. oil production has been steadily increasing since the pandemic caused a lot of bankruptcies. U.S. oil production has been back at record levels for the bulk of this year. We're going to be closing this year with the U.S. being the largest oil producer by far, 13.5 million barrels every single day.
Patrick DeHaan, he is the head of petroleum analysis for Gas Buddy. Patrick, always great to talk with you, buddy. Have a safe, blessed holidays.
You as well.
Happy holidays.
All right, for everybody here at the Loft 100 Studios, Jared, Christy, Jason, Curtis, Miles, Christian, obviously the DTT. For Mary Burt-Godwin, I'm Costa. It's been the Big Biz Show. Talk to you later.